Hey guys, my name is Kylie, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about some interviewing tips. So, to start things off, by a show of hands, who has ever been in an interview before? All right, all of us. I myself have had my fair share of interviews, and I know I will have more. I know I always think they're pretty nerve wracking. In one word, could you guys describe to me how interviews make you feel?
Shaky or numb.
Okay.
Interviews make me feel really anxious or intimidated.
They make me feel sometimes kind of scared.
Usually I get pretty flustered right before an interview and I forget what I was going to say. I get really nervous going in for an interview.
Okay, so seems like we all have something kind of in common. We all get nervous, a little anxious, sometimes scared right before an interview. So one more poll. Raise your hand if you guys think you plan on having any more interviews in the future. Myself too, I'm a college student, so I know in the near future I'm going to have one of the biggest interviews of my life, applying for my dream job as a social worker. So we all kind of have something in common. We're all nervous about interviews, and we all know we're going to have more. So today I'm going to show you guys some tips and hints on how to ace your next interview. So in order to ace that interview, there are 3 key phases. The first phase is preparation. The second phase is going to be the actual interview. And the third phase is post-interview, what you should do afterwards. So first, we will start off with the preparation. All right, so preparation should be started once the interview has been scheduled. American Education suggests to research that company. Whoever you're applying for, you should know their background, when the company started, how the company started. You're going to want to know what their mission statements are, what their goals are as a whole. You're also going to want to know your strengths and weaknesses. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and it's important that we can know and verify those. Also, for your weaknesses, if you know what your weaknesses are, if you can start trying to correct them and work on them during your interview, if you can show that you've been working on fixing them, that will make you stand out above the rest. Another thing to do is make a list of questions that you're going to have. Knowing what you're going to want to ask is going to be key. And it's going to show that you're interested. It's going to show that one step up. And chances are, once you get into that interview, you're going to forget them because you're going to be nervous. You're going to be scared. So if you have them written down, it's going to be more easier to refer back to them. Another good thing to do is for each qualification you have, write them down for the job requirements that are required. So if you're required to have a certain skill, make sure you know that skill. Knowing these beforehand, if you're going to be asked them during an interview, you're going to be able to rattle them off quicker. You're not going to sit there and have a blank stare in your face and be stuck. So moving on to the day of the interview, it's super important to be well rested. You're going to want to get a full night's sleep the night before. If you're well rested, you're not going to be as nervous. You're going to be more focused, and you're going to be ready for that interview. Also, make sure you've got that list of questions, and it's also important to bring some extra resumes or your list of references. Having that with you is going to make you look like you're on top of your game. And it's also important for if you're applying for a job where you need to show some work you've done, make sure you've created a portfolio and bring that with you. And of course, the classic expression I think most of us have heard is dress for the job you want. You don't want to wear sweatpants to a corporate job. That wouldn't make any sense. So you definitely want to look respectful, tasteful, and business. And you definitely want to arrive 15 minutes early. Any time later than that, you're going to be rushed, and that will make your nerves even more. And definitely, if you don't know where you're going for your interview, the day before, drive around and find the building, find your spot. Because the day of, that will definitely calm your nerves. When you walk into the interview, walk in with confidence and a firm handshake. A handshake goes a long way to a lot of employers. And you're going to want to keep eye contact, and your body language should be positive and engaged. If you're sitting there looking away, not keep looking at the floor, not keeping eye contact, they're going to feel like you're not engaged. And that'll be a downfall for you. And this is the time in the interview where you get to sell yourself. You get to talk yourself up. You get to talk about your strengths. And if you do have weaknesses, you do get to explain how you're working on them. And you definitely want to be honest with them. Like I said before, we all have our weaknesses. If you go into an interview and tell your future employer that you don't have any weaknesses, they're going to know that you're lying. So it's easier to be upfront and know that you're working on them, and they will definitely respect that. At the end of the interview, you want to end on a positive note and another firm handshake and thank them for their time and the opportunity that they've given you. Once you leave, you need to send a thank you card within 24 hours. And once again, thank them for their time, and express your gratitude for the opportunity. So now that we've kind of covered those basic areas, there's still one more area to cover. Not all interviews are going to be face-to-face. You will maybe have an interview that's on the phone, and that could be for a multiple of different reasons. So it's also important that you be ready for those too. So for a telephone interview, the preparation is still the same. You're still going to want to do some background research on the company, who they are. And the phone interview is going to be a little more difficult because you have to sell yourself by your voice and your words. They don't get to see your body language. They don't get to see you engaged and focused. So you have to do all of that by the tone in your voice. Job Hunt had a great idea of doing your phone interview by a mirror or in front of a mirror. So when you're on the phone talking, make sure that you're smiling. Because if you have a smile on your face, your voice and your tone is going to be much more energetic, you're going to be more positive, and they will definitely be able to tell that. And when you're answering questions over the phone, you want to use answers that include who, what, when, where, and why. Using those words, you're really going to be able to paint a picture. You're going to visualize more of what you're trying to get across to your future employers. You definitely want to stay away from yes or no answers because those are going to end the interview way too quick and your future employer is not going to know much about you. And once again, don't forget the thank you card. It was still an interview. You definitely want to give that handwritten thank you. So to wrap things up, just remember to be prepared in advance, be honest and energetic, and always send your thank you card. So now let's take one last poll. Did any of you guys learn something, a new technique today that you'll use in the future? All right, awesome. So I hope my information about successful interviewing has given you all the knowledge and encouragement you need to ace your next interview. So good luck to you guys, and thank you.